There is an alternative, you know. You don't have to wait around for trial and jail. You could simply leave the country.
Leave the country?
People do it all the time. It would mean, of course, giving up your bail money.
That's all right. But that's a crime in itself. I mean, I could go to prison for that, right?
You go to prison in either event, won't you? And for just as long. But listen, I'm only telling you what I would do. I don't want to influence you.
No, tell me. What would you do? How would you get away with it?
Well, I know some people who are very good at arranging transportation, documents, papers.
False passport.
I do not want you to mention this to anyone. I don't want my friends to get in trouble.
I'm the one in trouble. Now, tell me more.
All I know is they've helped people in worse trouble than you are leave the country. Help them find completely new lives in a country where there is no extradition agreement with the United States. They are free now. Free as a bird.
Free.
If you want, I can send you to these people. I can have you on board a ship to South America in a couple of days. And you'll be able to stop worrying about prison and trials and everything. Everything except enjoying yourself for the rest of your life. If you want that.
Yes, that is exactly what I want.
All right. The first thing you're going to need, of course, is money. A great deal of money, and in cash. Now, this might cost you about $100,000. I mean, for transportation, papers.
That's all right. I can deal with that.
And you're going to need cash for yourself. I mean, all the cash you can lay your hands on, because once you leave the country, the courts are going to confiscate your funds.
Well, there's a problem with getting that much cash because they'll be suspicious I'm out on bail.
You don't have to worry about that. I mean, as long as we're careful.
Yes, we have to be very careful.
Which means that you cannot tell anyone about this. I mean, not a hint of what you're planning to do.
I'm not going to tell anyone. You think I'm stupid?
But you could not trust your best friends with this information. I mean, they're going to try to persuade you to stay.
I won't tell anyone.
All right, now that includes Spencer. Now, Spencer has some very strange ideas about what's right and wrong, so you cannot tell Spencer, all right? I'm going to make a list of names and addresses of people that you need to contact. I want you to memorize this list and then destroy it. Can you do that?
Yes, I can do anything if I have to. And you, Nora, are the best friend a person could ever have.
That really surprises me, Nancy, that Eddie Lorimer would come to your office for the sole purpose of twisting the knife in Damien Tyler's back.
It's a very apt description. That's exactly what he's doing.
Nancy did write the story about the brutality charge against Damien, but she really had no choice.
I did point out that the charge hasn't been substantiated. There still has to be a hearing.
Yeah, I would like to attend that hearing.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be there, Miles, since you were the consulting physician on the case.
Well, that's right. That gets me a front row seat, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is the man out of the hospital yet?
No, he's still there. The injuries were quite severe. That's another reason I'm convinced it couldn't have been Damien. I'm sure it was just engineered, this whole beating by Eddie Lorimer to get back at Damien for something.
I just wish there was some way to prove that.
Well, look, I don't know whether this is going to work, but I have an idea how to get the victim to admit the truth. There's no guarantee of success, but I'm going to try something tomorrow at the hospital.
I am truly astonished, Grace. I simply cannot believe the paintings on these walls. Oh, what you're seeing is only the tip of the iceberg. My father has some unbelievable works in his bedroom, his study, his sanctum sanctorum.
Where is that?
It's the only room in the house that he keeps strictly for himself. Although, I must admit, he's been kind enough to let me spend a few minutes there now and then, if I'm very well behaved. Here, it contains his, favorite works of art. He has a Picasso, a Vermeer, Modigliani, small Rubens.
Oh, I would love to see this private collection.
Oh, well, I think he's in there now, but I'm sure he'd be delighted to show it to you.
Really?
Maybe your sister would be interested. If she's not too busy. Let's go.
All right. If you won't tell me, I'll have to guess. You're a fashion model. No, that's too obvious. You put out oil well fires?
That's a little closer.
Well, give me a hint. You're a debutante.
No.
You're a hockey player.
No.
You work in a cigar factory. You're a dancer?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I used to be a dancer, but I just wasn't good enough.
So now you just stand around at parties and look beautiful.
Listen, I'll tell you what. How about I go find my friend Gavin, and you can ask him all about me.
I don't believe you have a friend here. I think you just invented him to keep me away.
I didn't invent him. I just can't find it.
Okay, if you won't tell me about yourself, I'll tell you about me. Now, what would you like to know about me most?
I'd like to know what it takes to discourage you.
Major earthquakes, usually. Anyway, my name is Chad. I'm 23 years old, and I've never earned a dime in my life.
I'm proud of it.
I'm a student. I'm taking a postgraduate course at Monticello University, the Newell School of Art. Well, I won't be a student much longer. I graduate next month. Then I'll be ready to go to work, settle down, and get married. Would you like a large wedding, or should we just steal quietly away to a justice of the peace?
Well, you do plan your future in a hurry, don't you?
Well, I believe in quick decisions. And I'll have to make a big one next month. Whether to strike out on my own or to go into my father's business.
And what business is that?
It's not in Monticello. Actually, I've already made up my mind. I have to stay here. I decided that tonight.
Really?
Yes. The minute I saw you.
You know, I just figured out what your business is, Chad.
Oh?
You're a professional flatterer.
I'm a painter.
Are you being serious now?
If there's one thing I'm serious about, it's my painting.
Oh, there you are. I've been looking all over for you.
I've been trying to get back here to find you, too. But Grace corralled me and took me to go see a Renoir.
It's the best painting here.
This is Chad something.
And Gavin, naturally, the not-so-invisible man. I wasn't sure you existed, even though Jody told me you did.
Well, wasn't the painting worth seeing?
Sure, but Grace introduced me to a bunch of people, and she told them that I was a famous choreographer. They were all dance buffs, and so they wouldn't let me get out of there.
And are you a famous choreographer?
Nope, not famous, not a choreographer, at least not now.
I take it you were in another line of work.
No, not working at all, thanks. Unless you have a job in your pocket.
Actually, I'm in the same boat you are. Worse. See, I'm a painter, which is no job at all.
Got any works hanging here?
Among the Renoirs and Cézannes? No, I'm afraid not. However, I do have one small painting in the Endicott Gallery.
Well, that's very good, isn't it?
Well, the painting isn't. That's why Grace Endicott hung it. She has no taste.
Jody, would you like a drink? I've noticed that you're not holding a glass.
Oh, please, let me get you both some champagne. Joseph. Hey.
Okay.
Well, look who's here. Johnny Gentry and his friend.
Nice to meet you, Miss Endicott. How do you do? I'm so pleased.
Johnny. Hello?
Oh, for Pete's sake, what are you guys doing here?
We were invited. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Well, you doing any acting?
Johnny, darling, come and meet the Richardsons.
Yeah, I'm doing some acting. What do you call this?
You know, for a while there, I thought I'd lost you.
You can never lose me. I'm so happy. And now you look so depressed.
Kelvin decided not to send the letter.
You mean the letter he wrote to his wife about the divorce?
It took him days to write that letter. And then he conveniently lost it when he gave it to somebody else to mail for him.
You know, Dee Dee, I still feel really guilty about that. You know, it's probably my
Mitzi,
fault.
don't feel guilty. It's not your fault. Kelvin obviously didn't want that letter to be sent. I offered to mail the second letter. And then he asked me to give it back to him.
Dee Dee, that is really weird. I mean, Calvin is crazy about
Calvin loves his wife, obviously. Because when it came right down for him to make the painful decision, he just couldn't do it.
These can't
believe he would do a thing like that. I mean, well, he sure has disappointed me, I can tell you that.
Gee, that's really a shame.
You know, I thought he was a friend, you know, and then he goes into something like this.
You know, I'll have to talk to him about that, Mitzi, about treating you so badly.
Well, you know, if I were you, I wouldn't talk to him at all. I mean, I would drop him like a hot pot roast or something, you know, all over the floor.
I think that's very good advice. Calvin had a visitor today.
Oh.
I don't know, some woman, a friend of Star's from New York. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe she just reminded Calvin that he had someone loving him in New York. A wife who really cared for him deeply.
Dee Dee, what are you gonna do?
Well, for starters, I'm going to take a nice, long, hot bath and go to bed.
With Calvin.
No. Definitely not with Calvin.
No, I mean, what are you gonna do with
Missy,
Calvin?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Do you think you'll see him again?
Mitzi, he's got to explain it to me. He's got to tell me in his own words what it is that he really, really feels.
What the hell's the matter with you?
pain. You know that, Tyler?
I'm sorry. I know when you're in trouble, Calvin. What's going on?
What, would you like an accounting of all the gory details?
Yeah, okay, I know I've been suspended from my job, but I didn't think our friendship was suspended.
I'm sorry. I had a visit today from, someone from New York City.
Who, Star?
Oh, no. This was, a friend of Star's, if you could call her that.
And what did this friend of Star's want with you?
Oh, she just came to be helpful. She's Star's understudy, and she was worried about her health.
Understudy.
Yeah.
She was worried that maybe Star's a little too healthy.
Right. Anyway, she, came to tell me a little secret Star's been keeping.
Is it still a secret?
Oh, no. She, managed to let me worm it out of her after a while. Damien Star's pregnant. My wife is gonna have a baby.
Planning to move in, Harry?
Oh, Rosie, you know I live out of my briefcase.
Our little, second honeymoon in New York brought us closer together than either of us planned.
I know this is a real kick in the head for you.
I can say that. On top of everything else, I'm locked out.
This just isn't your day. Look, are you sure this Samantha is trustworthy?
I don't know. I mean, she says that she personally accompanied Star to the doctor. I guess she knows what's going on.
Well, I don't get it. Why would Star tell Samantha and not tell you?
Well, you know how she is about this show business thing. I mean, it's the most important thing in her whole life. That's why she's in New York and I'm schlepping around down here in Monticello.
Possible Star doesn't want to have the baby?
I don't know. I don't know what she's thinking.
Oh, I know you said the job was very demanding for her.
Strenuous. I guess that's why she didn't want me to know. She didn't want the producer to know. I guess she figured I'd get on the phone and just insist that she just drop the whole thing and get back here.
Well, I suppose Samantha would be happy to see Star quit.
Oh, sure. She's the next logical one in line to take over the job.
Well, Samantha would probably enjoy it if you called Star and said, come on home, let's raise a family.
You know, about a year ago, I would say that is exactly what I would have done. Now I just don't know.
Because of Dee Dee?
Tyler, I was going to ask her for a divorce. And now she comes up with this baby. I mean, you know what kind of a rat I'd have to be to do that now? I just can't go through with it. No way.
It's pretty scary, you know. I mean, being on the run and being a fugitive, I'm going to be paranoid at everyone I see.
You won't feel that way once you leave the country. In fact, that feeling will be gone as soon as you step on board that ship for South America.
It will.
Of course. Because the ocean is neutral territory. Nobody can arrest you on the ocean. And when you land, you'll be in a country where nobody can put you in prison. Unless, of course, you break the local laws.
Oh, I never want to go to prison again. Almost anything is better than that.
I know you're going to love it down there. The weather is warm, the people are friendly, and if you have money, you can live like a queen. You can have an estate up in the mountains, a condominium in town, all day sunbathing and swimming at the beach or shopping at those fabulous stores. You know, I hear they get all the latest clothes from Paris. And at night, those fabulous parties. And listen, come on, you're going to meet a lot of Americans down there. Rich, handsome playboy types, right? I know you're going to make a lot of friends down there.
Yes, you know, I need to make new friends. None of my friends stood by me during this, not even Geraldine.
Whitney residence. One moment, please. Did you call on Mr. Frobish?
Yes, that's the man from the bank. I've been trying to reach him. Hello, Raven Whitney here.
So, you're back home, Mrs. Whitney. I thought you were on a cruise.
Yes, I am back. Look, I'm sorry to be getting a hold of you after hours, but it's very important.
Oh, that's quite all right, Mrs. Whitney. Always glad to help a good customer. What can I do for you?
I am going to need some more money, a great deal of money tomorrow, and I just wanted to make sure that it was available.
Well, how much cash are we talking about?
Well, how much do I have in the account?
You couldn't possibly be thinking of withdrawing that much.
Well, look, I mean, you're not going to go broke. You still have all my CDs.
Well, it's just an awful lot of money to take out in that
It's
form.
my money, and I can do what I want with it.
Well, yes, of
And
course, but...
also, I want this to be totally confidential.
Perhaps if we talk this over in the morning, it would...
I want my money. And if anyone finds out about it, I will never do business with your bank again. And not only that, I'm going to remove every penny and tell your superiors that it was your fault. Is that clear, Mr. Frobish?
Yes, Mrs. Whitney. Perfectly clear.
See, I think it's about time for us to leave.
Oh, yes, I'm dying to sneak in and see that Renoir again, but I suppose it'll have to wait.
Has anybody seen Gavin or Jody?
I saw them a little while ago, but I don't know where they are now.
Well, I suppose I better go look for them then. Excuse me.
Well, what is the guy's name? I've forgotten his name already.
Chad.
I don't know his last name.
What did you say he does?
He's a painter.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he did this place. Did a good job on the ceiling.
No, I mean, he's a painter. Actually, he's taking a postgraduate course, and he'll be graduating, I believe, in June.
Did he ask you to model for him?
No,
Good, because I wouldn't have let you.
you're jealous. Hey, you got something on your lips.
What?
Me.
You kids ready to blow the joint? I've had enough elegance for one night. I just want to get home, take off my shoes.
You and me both.
Here for most of the evening.
Oh, thanks.
The Endicotts wanted to make sure we saw all of the sights.
Ah, did you see the Renoir?
Yes, I did. It was nice.
Nice. Is that all you have to say about it? Nice?
I don't know that much about art, only when it's in motion.
Well, I think I ought to talk to the art editor of the paper. I don't know if he's aware of the incredible collection there is in this house.
You should, Nancy. I think it deserves a feature article.
That is, if he will let you do it.
Yes, I get the impression that Mr. Endicott feels rather protective about his art.
I'm so pleased you could all come tonight.
Oh, it's our
Thank
pleasure.
you. I'm sorry my father isn't here. He's in the study doing business with somebody.
Well, thank you for having us. We've had a wonderful evening.
Good.
Yes, it has been a delightful time. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I was just saying that I thought the art editor of the Monticello News might be fascinated to see your father's collection. How do you think he would feel about it?
Well, I think publicity's probably the last thing he would want.
I'm afraid that might be the case. Thanks so much for the evening.
Yes, good to have you.
Bye-bye, dear.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. I hope you enjoyed yourself, Miss Travis.
Yes, I did. I had a very nice time.
And I hope you'll think about my offer to find out more about that portrait of yours.
I will.
All we need to do is just have it for a few days, and then we can have someone look at it. And I think we should be able to find out about the period and the artist and maybe even the model.
I'd love to find that out, wouldn't you? I mean, it must be an ancestor, Jody. It looks so much like you.
Yeah, I would. I really would. Okay, how about tomorrow?
Good. Good. I'll see you then.
Great.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Oh, good. Oh, wait a second. I forgot my purse.
That's okay. I'll get it.
No, I know exactly where it is. I'll meet you outside.
Okay.
It's you.
You notice it when you don't have hair.
What are you doing? Why aren't you ready?
Ready for what?
Mrs. Whitney's coming down. You have to drive her to the bank.
Bank? Are you joking?
Of course not. She needs money.
Why didn't you offer to cash a check for her? You know we can't take a chance like that.
It's her decision. I had nothing to do with it.
If she goes into a public place, what's going to happen? She might meet someone she knows.
If you want to argue, argue with her. All I know is she said to wake her up early so she can go to the bank.
So you knew about this last night. Why didn't you tell me then, Nora?
Well, you got in too late. I didn't want to wait up for you.
I was home by 10 o'clock.
I went to bed early.
What's going on here, Nora? You up to something?
Don't be ridiculous.
Spencer, are you ready?
See?
In one moment, Mrs. Whitney.
Oh, hurry up.
Yes, ma'am. I'll get the car right now.
How do I look? You think I'll be recognized?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I would go to the bank early so that there won't be as many people around.
Good.
I can't believe that I am jumping bail.
Oh, I'll get that. Hello. Oh, Mrs. Saxon.
Nora, my early flight was earlier than I thought. We were almost an hour ahead of schedule.
Yes, I realize that.
Is it still convenient for Spencer to pick me up?
Well, I'm not too sure. One moment, please. She's at the airport. She got here early.
Just what we need, more complications.
This is not the time for Mrs. Saxon, especially with the arrangements we have to make.
I don't know what to do. Come on, think of something.
Yes, Mrs. Saxon. Spencer will be there just as soon as he can.
Nora, what are you doing?
Gate 5, yes. Yeah, I've got that. He'll be there in about half an hour. Bye-bye.
Are you crazy? Spencer has to take me to the bank. Mr. Frobish is waiting.
I'll take you to the bank. It'll be better anyway. You might not be recognized, but your car and driver might.
Well, I understand that, but I don't understand this thing about Geraldine.
The car's ready, Mrs. Whitney.
There has been a change of plans, Spencer.
Then you're not going to the bank.
I have to go to the bank.
I'll take her to the bank. You get to the airport as soon as you can and pick up Mrs. Saxon.
But her plane isn't due to arrive yet.
Well, it was early. But listen, you cannot bring her here.
What do you mean?
Well, tell her the house is being painted.
Brilliant. She hates the smell of paint. She's always complaining that it makes her eyes water.
Where should I take her?
Well, take her to a hotel, of course. Monticello Arms. You leave. I'll call and make a reservation.
You approve, Mrs. Whitney?
Yes, I approve. Now go on. Go.
You know, the funny thing about my memory is that some things I remember so clearly, and others are so foggy.
Just think of those things relating to that friend of yours, Jefferson Brown. You said something about a street fight.
Yes, that was on the night that we met in Zurich. He was in an alley. And apparently he was getting mugged by a couple of men. I was coming home from a party and I had a young Fräulein with me. And I decided to be something of a hero.
And did you?
Well, no, not exactly. As a matter of fact, I was knocked unconscious a few moments after I joined the fray.
Oh, dear.
So I came to in Jeff's room. He was putting a compress on my head. I asked him what it was all about. He replied in a very mysterious fashion. He started mentioning things like espionage and international intrigue, spies.
He was just trying to sound interesting.
Yeah, well, of course, I didn't believe a word of it, but I did find it amusing that someone would even talk like that, and there were not very many amusing people in Switzerland that year. I was bored to tears.
And Jefferson Brown wasn't boring?
No, he wasn't boring. He was dirt poor, though. I could tell that from the hotel room he lived in.
What did he look like, physically?
Like me, quite a bit. I mean, he was the same height, same weight. As near as I could tell, he was about the same age. We had very similar coloring.
You can be sure that Jefferson Brown noted that resemblance.
Well, if you're referring to this imposter idea, I doubt that it occurred to him back then. I mean, I don't think that occurred to him until later on, perhaps even until after the plane crash.
No, I don't believe that, Skye. Something like this takes planning. He saw that resemblance and wondered how he could use it to his advantage.
Anyway, the one big difference between the two of us was that I was rich and he was poor.
He must have had some money.
Well, he was able to scratch a living together somehow, but he was telling me about this big deal he was going to make. He was going to sell something and make an awful lot of money from it. The way he referred to it, it sounded as if it was going to be some kind of a shady deal, too.
Drugs, most likely.
No, I got the impression it was something more along the lines of, I don't know, jewels, gems, something like that. As it happened, though, this sale never came off, and he was broke.
You must have been a godsend.
Yeah, well, I did lend him a few thousand francs. But instead of trying to pay me back, at least with money, he started following me around. He became a cross between a companion and a lackey. I didn't really mind all that much. See, I had been bumming around Europe for quite a while alone, waiting until the time was right for me to come back to the States to get my inheritance.
Only you never did, because he claimed it first.
Yes, well, that's what I've got to prove now, isn't it?
Tell me, what did Valerie Bryson think of Jeff Brown?
Not much. Well, she didn't see him that much either.
Why not?
Well, because I made it very clear to him that she was mine.
I see.
He did date a girlfriend of hers, though. I don't think he liked her very much. No, he didn't. I didn't either, for that matter.
Valerie Bryson's girlfriend. So there was a fourth witness.
Fourth witness? What do you mean?
Valerie's friend. She also knew you both. Skye, she might be able to help us. If only we can find her.
This is the first time I've ever gotten up before Jody.
I know it. She's usually such an early bird. I guess it was because we stayed out so late at that party last night.
We got in at 1 o'clock. We stayed out later than that.
Yeah, well, maybe she was just too excited to go to bed. It was kind of a dazzling evening, wasn't it?
She dazzled everybody, including some guy named Chad. Did you meet him?
No, I didn't. Who is he?
Don't ask me. I think he was just one of the guests. Although I think he had something to do with Grace Endicott. He said something about having one of his paintings in her art gallery.
Oh, he's an artist.
Yeah, he seemed rather young to be so accomplished. In fact, Jody said something about him just getting out of postgraduate school.
Oh, he was taken with Jody, was he?
Yeah, well, I guess I can't blame him. She did look terrific, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Well, so did you, like it or not. You looked absolutely gorgeous in that tuxedo. You did.
Well, maybe I'll get a job as a waiter. That way I can wear one all the time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry I overslept. Would Miles leave already?
Yeah, he left about an hour ago. Come on, sit down.
You look like you could use a cup of coffee.
Oh, yes, I could. I didn't sleep very well last night.
Yeah, we figured that. Too much party excitement.
No, actually, it was something that happened afterwards.
What?
Well, I didn't want to say anything about it last night because I didn't want to spoil the evening.
Come on, what was it?
Well, do you remember when we were leaving and I went to get my purse?
I remember.
When I did, I saw somebody that startled me.
Chad?
No, it wasn't Chad. It was somebody I hadn't noticed before.
Well, who was it?
I don't know. I don't know his name. I mean, he wasn't a guest. He was a servant. Look, I could swear it was the same man I saw in Springfield.
What?
Well, I know it sounds crazy, but he looked exactly like the man I saw coming out of my mother's room the day that she died.
Well, that sounds impossible, Jody. What would one of Endicott's servants be doing there?
Oh, honey, it was probably somebody who just looked like him.
Well, that's what I kept trying to tell myself, that I was so preoccupied with this man's face, I'm putting it on other people.
Yeah, and you said he also wore dark glasses. That could make a difference.
Jim, I know, but the resemblance was so great that when I saw him, I actually said, "It's you."
How did he react to that?
Oh, he just looked as surprised as I was, and then Grace Endicott called him and he was gone.
Well, I suppose it's possible it could be the same man. After all, servants have private lives, too.
I think it's very doubtful, Jody.
Oh, I know. It's just kept me awake all night thinking about it.
Well, would it be any help if I spoke to the Endicotts about him? I'm sure I'll see one or the other of them.
Well, actually, I'm supposed to see them today. I promised to take the painting over to the art gallery.
Oh, well, then you'll see him before I do.
I'm gonna go with you, you know.
You will?
Sure, that way we can kill two birds with one stone. We can have them look at the painting, and then we can ask them about their servant and find out if he was out of town the night your mother died.
It's just as I thought, Mrs. Whitney. It's going to take at least 24 hours to arrange this.
24 hours? That's ridiculous.
But I don't think you have any idea of the magnitude of what you're asking the bank to do. I mean, do you realize how much you have in liquid assets?
No, I don't, but it's mine. I can do what I want with it,
Yes,
can't I?
yes. I'm not questioning that, but well, here, just look at these figures.
It's almost $20 million.
Yes, well, I don't know why your husband wanted to keep so much money in cash, but he did.
Well, then why can't I have it?
Because it would take a great deal of time simply to count it out, to verify it. Now, really, Mrs. Whitney, why don't you take the funds in coupon bonds?
No, I don't want paper.
Well, cash is paper, too, and the bonds would be as negotiable as money. There is only one risk. Anyone can use them. I mean, they're also called bearer bonds, which mean anyone bearing them can turn them into cash.
Well, how long would it take to get these bonds?
Well, with any luck, I can have them ready for you by closing time this afternoon.
Does that mean I'd have to come back here and get them?
Now, if you'd like, I could send them via bonded messenger to your home. In fact, I would prefer it that way for your own protection.
Well, that's all right, but I am going to need a little bit of cash, about $100,000.
Yes, well, I'm sure we can arrange that.
Well, wonderful. Thank you. You've been very helpful.
Well, my pleasure, Mrs. Whitney.
And remember what I said about just keeping it between you and me?
Well, other people will know the transaction took place. I mean, bank people, I mean.
Yeah, well, that can't be helped. And in case you were wondering why I needed all the money, it's for my attorneys.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
see. $20 million in legal fees? What could a lawyer possibly be doing for her that would cost $20 million?
Ah, Spencer. How nice of you to come out and meet me.
Hello, Mrs. Saxon. I'm sorry if I kept you waiting.
No, I didn't realize I would be so early. Frankly, it's probably just as well. I'm a bit tired. And I'm very anxious to be in my own home again.
There's something I should tell you, Mrs. Saxon.
What's that?
Well, since Mrs. Whitney didn't expect you for quite some time, she thought it would be a good opportunity to do some work in the house.
Raven, work?
Well, what I mean is she has hired some house painters, and they're repainting the upstairs bedrooms, including yours, of course.
Well, for heaven's sake. Raven never before took very much interest in domestic details. What's happening to her?
I really don't know, ma'am.
Well, never mind. I suppose it's just as well that she is occupied redecorating the house. The only thing is, I have a strong allergy to house paint.
Yes, Mrs. Whitney realized that, and she's made arrangements for you to spend a night or two at the Monticello Arms.
Well, that was very thoughtful of her. In any case, I don't have much choice, do I, Spencer?
I want
kept on the same medication for the next 24 hours. He will probably ask you for more. You just ignore him, all right?
How you doing, Doc?
Oh, how are you?
How's the patient?
Well, he's doing a lot of moaning and groaning. He would have made a great living as a professional wrestler. Oh, no. The injuries are real enough. He just wants everybody to know about them. Listen, were there any witnesses to the so-called beating that you administered?
Yes, there was one. It happened to be Eddie Lorimer's secretary, a lady named Poppy.
Lorimer's secretary? How'd that happen?
Well, it was no coincidence. Well, I was trying to be clever. I wanted to get some information about Eddie's operation, so I thought I'd invite this lady for a little romantic dinner. Unfortunately, it backfired. She turned out to be more clever than I was.
You think she's part of the frame-up?
She was an essential part of it. I'm sure she called Eddie and told him where we were going to dinner, and then he sent Sammy after me to provoke a fight.
So at the hearing, if she's called as a witness...
Oh, she's not going to be on my side, Miles, that's for sure. In fact, she's going to testify that I dragged Sammy into an alley and beat him half to
now,
death.
look, the people at the hearing are going to know her connection to law.
But that's not going to be enough to override
Well,
a testimony.
maybe we can be clever, too, and figure out a way to get them to admit the truth.
Oh, great. Look who's here.
Oh, well, Detective Tyler. What are you doing at the hospital? Come for your distemper shot?
Yeah, I had to get one after associating with your pals, Eddie.
That's cute. Are you the boy's doctor?
That's right, Dr. Kavanaugh.
Hi, I'm Eddie Lorimer. I just took a look at that kid. He's in pretty bad shape, and I hope you're going to be able to do something for him.
We will do everything we can.
Well, I want him to have the very best. You see, he works for my company, and I take good care of my people.
You sure do, Eddie.
Now, money's no object. I don't care what it costs. I'll take care of it. You understand that?
Yeah, I understand. But there's one thing about this case that
What's that?
Well, from the examinations we've made, we've been able to observe that his injuries have been healing at different rates of speed.
So what does that mean?
Well, it's just that it could mean that his injuries were sustained at 2 different times.
What are you, bananas or what?
No. Well, it's possible for a man to get beaten up twice, isn't it?
Hey, look, I'd be a little more careful when you open that little black bag. I think the fumes from those drugs are getting to your brain. I gotta go. I'll see you.
Hey, Miles, is it really possible to do that?
No, but there's no harm in letting him think so.
Hey, what's this? I thought you were going to spend the morning in bed.
Oh, well, no, I couldn't. This bed is made for 2 people.
Well, in that case, the heck with shopping.
Oh, no. Now, wait a minute. You said you were going to ride on that trusty bicycle of yours into town.
I just wanted to get a newspaper, that's all.
Yes, and maybe also to make a phone call?
We have a phone here.
Oh, I know we have a phone. It's just that, I think that you hate to make calls in front of your bride.
What are you insinuating, that you have married the sneaky type?
No. As a matter of fact, just the opposite. I think that by some dumb stroke of luck, I have married the most wonderful man in the world.
Now I know I'm not going into town. You know, I used to think so many other things were important. My career and my money. Making all the right decisions about things. Politics and friends and even picking the right tie. But I know that I've got one thing that's more important than anything else.
Yes, I know. Breakfast.
All right, go on, make it fun. Make it fun. But I'm being serious. I'm very seriously in love.
Well, I hope you are. And you know, I also think that you're very seriously worried about Damien. Come on. It's true, isn't it? I mean, you would like to be there. You feel awful about it. Admit it.
I do wish I could help him, yeah.
Well, look. When is that hearing scheduled?
A couple of days.
I mean, I've been thinking. Maybe it's a good idea if we go home in a couple of days.
You don't think that.
No, yes, I do. I do. I mean, I've enjoyed this honeymoon. But I don't want it to be too long. I want to have some married life. I mean, I want to have married life. This isn't it. This is all newlywed stuff.
Well, what's wrong with newlywed stuff?
Nothing. Nothing at all. But I do want the real married life. I want to be there when you come home. So I can say, how was your day?
Sweetheart, I don't want a day that doesn't involve you.
Well, that's just the tension. We're
so nervous in that bank. I hope no one recognized me. I didn't even dare turn around and look.
No, I don't think anybody was really paying any attention.
And thank heavens Mr. Frobish thought of those negotiable bonds.
Yes, that was very sensible.
And now all we have to do is wait till the messenger comes.
I think you should rest meanwhile. It's going to be a long, hard day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't even want to have to think about the next step. Oh, by the way, Nora, I just want to say that you've been wonderful.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Whitney.
I really couldn't have done it without you, and I'll never forget it.
No, you never will.
Hello?
Damien, is that you?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
It's Geraldine Saxon, dear. I'm sorry to be disturbing you at home.
Geraldine, that's all right. I didn't even know you were back yet.
I came back only to read in the newspaper that you have been suspended from the police force. Is that really true?
Yeah, it seems like I'm a very brutal type. I didn't know it myself until I read it in the paper today.
There's nothing about that in the paper.
Well, Nancy Carr wrote the article. I guess she just was kind enough to reserve judgment.
Damien, I'm terribly sorry this has happened. I'd like to hear more about it. Is there a chance that I can see you anytime soon?
Sure, my time is very flexible. As a matter of fact, I'd like to talk to you very much. Are you at home?
No, I'm at the Monticello Arms. Raven is having the house painted.
Oh, you mean in her absence?
No, not in her absence. She's here. I talked to her last evening.
What? Hey, that can't be possible. Her servants told me she was on a cruise somewhere.
My dear boy, I can assure you, definitely, Raven is here.
Well, then somebody was lying to me.